Good evening and welcome to the Pipe and Tobacco Talk podcast. It's episode 39, and Tim, you know what time it is. It's time to read the magic disclaimer from mbstpipes.com.
All right. Well, warning, everybody. This podcast will expose the listener to offensive, insensitive, off-putting, and otherwise socially unacceptable content known to the state of California to cause cancer. To avoid injury, the sponsors of this podcast recommend you simply grow a pair. Grow a pair.
Attaway, Tim. Let them know what they're in for.
Nut up.
We'll just, that's right. Before we get to our guest, the absolutely wonderful Wilson from the Spurgeon Piper, great YouTube channel. I owe Wilson a ton for all the things that he's done for ESF, and we're just thrilled to have him on. As we've talked about in previous episodes, we are no longer scheduling guests in advance because people forget. So we just kind of hit them up as we go. And next week, it's Tuesday, so everybody knows it's Tuesday night. This will probably post Thursday morning because we'll make Ben rush through it. Sunday of this week, we have Simon from LCS Briars on, and we'll have a ton of pipes from my collection to show. Of Simon's work, and we'll chat with Simon. And we're recording that early Sunday afternoon, but at 9 p.m. his time because of the continental changes. So there we go.
Yeah, there's a continental divide.
Yeah, there is. That big pond, as they call it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got a ton of fun stuff to talk about. I got spun into a brand new dimension of pissed off on Saturday, which we'll talk about. We got a fantastic letter in response to the armed services members that we did the giveaway with Pathfinder pipes, and just a ton of fun stuff to talk about. But let's get to our esteemed guest, who only has 17,000 YouTube subscribers currently. Wilson, is that how many are?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let's see. I haven't checked that. I don't check it. No, you're off a couple thousand. I'm right over 15.
15.
So
okay.
Not there yet.
All right.
What a piker.
Yeah, exactly. We were pretty excited to get to 351.
We thought we had somebody with 17. He's only got 15.
Yeah. Small potatoes.
Yeah, only 15,000 people.
What do we have? Do we have 350 yet?
351 currently, Tim.
351. 351.
Yeah. And we did have.
You know what the one is? The one is that vegan guy.
We'll get into that in the what's new, because I had two people from alcohol help centers befriend me on Instagram because of the and I'm not kidding.
That's showing.
And I had 4 people that were vegans either try to be my Facebook friends or follow me on Instagram. So we're making friends all over the board. Look, Jim, he needs help. I should help.
Some guys are chick magnets. You're a magnet. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I'd like to reverse the polarity on that. Yeah. I'm going to have to be hateful to vegans as I go forward.
That's beautiful.
So anyway, Wilson. So everybody knows in the January of 2023, Wilson chose Cwin Bay Navy to be one of his top 5 blends of 2022. And since that time, it has consistently been in the top 3 of my selling blends. I can't say thank you enough. I got an amazing response from that, from your viewers and listeners, and it's just a thrill to get to talk to you. So let's chat about how you got into pipe smoking. How did
so probably unlike many, I would wager, it was actually through my wife. She was one who bought my first pipe for a birthday present, 2018, 2017 maybe. And before that, she knew I had interest, because before that I've had professors who were pipe smokers, most certainly being a Lord of the Rings fan, C.S. Lewis fan, I knew they were indeed pipe smokers as well. So always had that drawl, and not to mention just the, I don't know, the aesthetic that went along with it. More type B personality, studious, but even mixing in the old farming uncle or grandpa, which of course I come from a farming background. So all that mixed together, I had a great interest in it. And so, yeah, my wife pulled the plunge or pulled the plug, or that's probably wrong terminology. But you know what I mean? She began that process for me. And so, yeah, began with a Joyeldelf brand, which I've covered this on my channel a while back. Joyeldelf's made by some Chinese company. I steer people away from them all the time, but I've had a lot of pushback on that, by the way. I've had Chinese citizens, reps, whatever, really hound me on that, big time. That was probably my most controversial video I've ever done. And I still have to deal with it occasionally.
Well, it's the fear that I have is the wood in my pipe toxic?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And what did they finish inside the bowl? Did they, what did they put in it? No, scary.
It's amazing how well lead holds up to flame,
Yeah.
And I told them, there's a reason those pipes it comes with this full kit you find on Amazon. The reason they're $10, $20. And your entry level briar pipes, you might get a basket briar for, I don't know, 30 or so, and maybe you can find some for cheaper. But you really have to think, why is this so cheap?
Yeah.
And if they're not using one of the main woods that we use, then even if it's cherry or pear or what have you, what are they using? And I've seen that some of them use corkwood, and some just are very broad with what they say. So anyway, long story short on that, yeah, I now spoke that thing every day, back to back, when I had a chance to, 5 times a day up to, and I did that for like 3 months, and I realized this thing's not really smoking that well anymore, and I think I added in some corn cobs and then another Lorenzo Spitfire, I think it was, pipe, and anyway, so yeah, just slowly took off from there.
All right.
What 3 months in, it was at the point at which your fingertips started tingling, and you had these mad
hallucinations.
Hallucinations, or you throw your head back and laugh at a drop of a hat.
About there,
He's
you
mad.
got it. It was about 3 months in.
He's mad.
He's mad.
Well, for pipe smokers that are starting out, Tim and I have talked about this on many occasions. Get a gray bow, get a cob.
Yes.
I have a pretty good collection of gray bows, and I have a really good collection of cobs, and absolutely they smoke like champs. And
absolutely,
if you're just trying to get in and test the waters, yeah,
right.
And when you compare it to the price, and I smoke cigars for the better part of 10 years, and it got to be, okay, well, let's do a cost analysis. I can smoke this one cigar for 45 minutes to an hour, and it's $15-16 for a good cigar, or I can buy this pipe for $30 and get a tin of tobacco and have 10 or 15 bowls out of it. And if we're doing math, 8 hours of enjoyment, yeah, just cost analysis. I think pipe smoking is superior. And let's face it.
Yes.
Are there better flavors in pipe tobacco? Can you find really exactly what you want to dial into in pipe tobacco versus cigars? And I think the answer is yes. And not that I'm bagging on cigars in any way, shape, or form. And I know a lot of people like them, and it's still more popular than pipe smoking. But pipe tobacco is better.
Oh, I'll bang on cigars.
That away, Tim.
I can tell you that I can smoke a pipe, and the next day, no problem. I smoke one cigar, and it doesn't matter when I smoke it. Next morning, I'm up looking for that monkey that took a shit in my mouth. It's terrible.
Don't hide your true feelings, Tim. Come on out and speak your mind.
It is amazing how distinct the cigar leaf is from pipe leaf. you think, well, tobacco's tobacco, but yeah, it is quite a distinct difference. Room notes, yeah, mouth feel. I mean, not only the taste as you mentioned, which you're absolutely right, but just I don't know, my mouth feels more I don't know, burnt, what have you. I don't know.
Yeah,
Than
like you could have, like you fell asleep in a chaise lounge with your mouth open.
yes,
You know,
yes, yeah,
sunburn on the back of your
absolutely.
throat. Well, you know, I think it's the wrapper because Jim, you blended some tobacco leaf, and I had that in my pipe, and it was just kind of. There wasn't a whole lot of flavor to it. It was just, take it or leave it kind of thing. But I didn't have that that result that I have when I smoke a cigar. And I think it's got to be the wrapper. What else could be different, right?
Well, they do ferment a lot of the cigar tobaccos, and that will
That's
change
true.
the complexity of it. So, if
Yeah.
anybody's out there blending at home and you buy cigar leaf from C&D from one of the online retailers, it has an overwhelming distinct taste, and that's because of the fermentation that they put it through. Now, when I buy whole leaf tobacco, it's really surprising. I would compare them to Burleys. They have a unique. Each one of them has a different flavor. They're very unique. In fact, when we talk about the what's new, I made a cigar leaf blend over the weekend, and they have a very tempered taste and flavor to them. And that's why I like to use them, because they add a nuance. You know, when you pair a good cigar leaf with Virginias and a little Burley and some Latakia, you get something really special. Whereas a cigar, you can put whatever you want in a cigar, but I think it's the fermentation that gives it its distinct room note and mouthfeel. So,
All right. Well, there you go.
or,
Yeah.
Shows you what I know.
yeah.
I love cigar pipe cigar blends. Big fan. I'm glad to hear you're making. You've already put some out, haven't you? I thought I saw a while back
Yep.
a cigar blend.
I think there are 10 on the list at the moment.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So the two that really stuck out to me was a leaf called Blind Monkey and Glasgow Magistrate, and they're really kind of special. Now, Glasgow Magistrate, I will tell you, if you don't like your nicotine hit and you want a more subdued flavor, Glasgow Magistrate is not for you. But if you like,
That's enticing.
it's Glasgow Magistrate's a little south. I also use Mexican Oscuro in a couple of blends because it has a slight peppery taste to it, but it's not overwhelming where it'll take over the blend. You know, I could make a blend with 30% Mexican Oscuro, and it wouldn't be. I can't. You know, it's not like a roasted chili pepper. You know, it doesn't have that
Interesting.
distinct flavor to it. So. So your YouTube channel, you do a variety of things. How do you come up with topics for the channel?
I chuckle because honestly, a lot of times it's decided that morning, if not maybe now, a bit more expansive than that. I have a to-do app on my phone that I always forget to do things, and so I'm always putting in the things to do, and it tells me a time. And anyway, I have on this list a note that I just constantly add video ideas to. And so that really is there. But oftentimes it may be the day before, if not that morning, where I'm really deciding, okay, what am I covering this week? So I do not put enough thought into my channel as I should, enough effort. One day it's going to really bite me. I know I should, but I don't. So yeah, it often is just decided either the evening before or that morning. And unless I'm doing an interview with someone, it's not thought that much ahead of time. So
Okay, so you're on the same page as us. Let's not have
Yes.
goals. Let's just
indeed,
put stuff out. All right, good. So
spit
look
stuff
at
out.
more and more in common every minute.
There you go.
As you've gone through your channel and done things, you know, what are you seeing resonating more with your audience? You know, you do a ton of blend reviews. You talk about how to smoke, what to smoke. You know, what's resonating most with your audience?
reviews and how-tos, beginner videos. And I would just think there'd be enough beginner videos out there. I really have tried to just kind of drift away from them. And then I'm pulled back in because I get a lot of questions on them. And I just think, well, gosh, we have Mutton Chop Piper out there. Who else do we need? You know, that's who I learn a lot of my my understanding of pipes and tobacco from, like many. But regardless of that, I get a lot of questions, and so I'll put out some videos when I get asked questions, and they are usually some of my top my top views. And then right behind that is tobacco reviews. They seem to be an ongoing hit, and of course, depending on what variety and what blend, and some of the more historic establishments, of course, get more interviews or more views. But yeah, so those two are certainly the main hits.
Excellent. Now, I know that some of the other channels, and I don't know if you're included in this, do you get the preview samples of the small batch releases? Is smoking pipes and C&D and some of the...
Yeah, I do a Sutliff. They added me on early this year. It was in January where I was contacted. No, it was December I was contacted about it. And I have started reviewing some of their new releases, but that is the only company. I highly doubt I would be contacted by Smoking Pipes or C&D. But I do theirs.
All right. Excellent. What was the latest release from Sutliff? What was the one that just came out?
Was it Old Boss?
I think so.
I think it was this one.
Yep, Old Boss.
Yeah. So
now,
heavy.
Did that one strike your fancy? Was it an enjoyable smoke for you?
So I seek. I mean, I would hope most guys would say this, but I seek to be honest in my reviews, regardless that I'm being sent these blends, and it is a solid blend. But I'm not a big heavier English guy.
Okay.
I kind of just drifted away from them. So I can't strike, and that's the issue with tobacco reviews. I'm sure you guys know it's just subjective. I know there's some blends we could probably agree. Maybe it's the company, or they're low quality, and regardless, they're going to get lower scores. But
yeah,
I don't like Haunted Bookshop, but I could not say it is a poorly made blend. You don't either. There you go, Tim.
No,
and
no,
love that blend. I don't like it at all.
No.
So,
in fact, I smoked 2 bowls out of the same pipe. I cleaned the pipe and sold it to the neighbor and sent. I bought 16 ounces because I saw all the reviews and everybody loves this stuff. And it completely misses my palate. The nicest thing I can say about it was, it's a road flare. This is something you set on fire and put out behind your car when you get a flat at night. I'm not a.
I haven't tried it in 3 years. I really want to go back just to meet it again, but I doubt I'm going to enjoy it. And so getting back to that, I can't say it is a cruddy blend. Well, enough people enjoy it. I doubt that. C&D makes decent blends at minimum, and so it's a bit subjective. So to Old Boss, the blend quality's fine. It wasn't my at the moment, at least, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Right, and that's fine. And I think that's why most of the big houses, put out so many different blends, is because not everything is for everyone.
Right.
And I agree with that completely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tim and I.
Your palate changes too. You may come back to Haunted Bookshop, and it's not so bad. It's maybe not my go-to, but it's tolerable. And that was, we keep bringing up Haunted Bookshop because it was one that was so broadly touted by everybody. You got to have this, and I tried it and was like, what am I missing here? And it was so far off. I gave it away, and so I doubt that I'll try it again. If somebody has some, I will. I'll dip into somebody else's and try it.
And
certainly
another highly rated blend that just doesn't. It just misses my palate completely is Nightcap from Peterson. I can't smoke that at all. I just
sure.
and I love English blends. Just that one was a whiff, and that's okay.
Interesting.
And we tell people all the time, look, smoke what you like. If you like
Exactly.
it, and
Exactly.
and that's why we typically Tim and I don't do reviews, simply because, everybody knows Tim and I lean towards heavy Latakia blends. We like both of us like our smokes a little stouter. So, it's
Certainly.
okay.
Yeah. Speaking of blends, I figure out to go ahead and show it. I oftentimes don't do this on my channel when people ask, but I am smoking Cwin Bailey. There we go.
Cwin Bay. Yeah, look at that.
Cwin Bay. There you go.
Yeah.
This is, I'll go ahead and I'll have, like most channels, I'll have a end of the year top blends of 2024, and I'll go ahead and I'm confident in saying this will certainly be a top blend. I know you sent this to me about 2 years ago. I believe it is now, maybe less.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I smoked some then, and then I put it away, and we moved up here, and then I had it in storage, and I brought it back out when we moved to this house I'm in right now, and holy smokes, I've been smoking this. I'm near out, and I've been smoking it.
No, the
daily.
mail will take care of that on. It looks like
Thank
Friday.
you.
So
Much obliged. Much obliged. But it's a fat. What's the contents of that, by the way? I was going to ask you.
okay, so it is, and let me pull up the magic blend sheet here. And here we go. Jim spending quality time fooling around with computers. It is 3 red Virginias, a lemon leaf Virginia, and yellow Virginia, and then it is topped with a very specific rum that I've
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh well, it's a Navy, so yeah.
Yeah, and the rum that I use, and I don't have a deal with them, and I feel kind of bad, but it's Captain Morgan's private stock. I had about 8 different rums that I was testing on blends, and I really liked how that one worked. Recently, I've added a spiced rum because of a customer request, and for me, that's the highlight. Is I think 60 of the blends on my list right now are recommend. People called up and said, "Hey, would you make me this?"
Wow.
We've mentioned it before, but I fell in love with the story of Kramer's, and I thought, well, here's a niche within a very small niche market. If you want something custom made, call me up. I'll whip something
That's
up
awesome.
for you.
That's wonderful. Well, this is a fat. I'm not surprised. I like this. Like this blend. I love Virginias, and I've been really loving Navy blends as a recent. I was confident it was a mostly predominant Virginia blend, but man, fabulous blend. So really
Thank
enjoying
you.
it.
Well, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Tim and I
You
don't
made
get to
another.
smoke enough.
What was he? Go ahead. I'm
Tim.
sorry.
No.
I was going to say there was another Navy blend that you made that I took to Las Vegas with me, and the name is escaping me.
Red
It
Castle
wasn't
Navy?
Cwin Bay. It was Red
Red
Castle.
Castle? Yep.
I like that one too. That's a good Navy blend too.
Well, actually, that came from a conversation that I had with Wilson when he got Cwin Bay. He said, do you have one that's just all red Virginias? And I said, no, not at the moment. And then Chris, a customer, called him and said, I want an all red Virginia blend. I said, okay, I'll make that. And I thought, well, so I made an all red Virginia blend, and it's got 5 red Virginias in it. And I made it for Chris, and I thought, you know what, this would probably really be good as a Navy too. So I made Red Castle. You can get Red Castle, which is just the 5 Virginias by themselves, or you can get it Navy where it's topped with rum. So
You said you sent that to me, didn't you?
I think it was just before you moved.
Okay. I probably have it up. Oh, that's right. We talked about this. I need to look for it. But yeah, that sounds excellent as well. Sounds real nice.
And by the way, moving, we're getting ready to move. So I was going through inventory and I was packing. Well, I'll talk about this later because I'll just spin off into a dimension of horrified. They stole 48 jars of tobacco is what I'm missing from my cellar.
Oh, wow. Oof.
Who's
That
that?
sounds really unfortunate.
The
Who's
movers.
they?
The movers. They just
Get the hell out.
Yeah, and it's like, of all the things to steal, because I was missing and I had wrapped them up and packed them, and I threw some clothes on top of them just to fill the box out. And I was like, I'm missing a pair of pants, and I was missing a sweatshirt, and I started to go through my cellar list because I have a spreadsheet with everything I have in my cellar, and I had a pound, and the one that really torques me off is I had a pound of Orlick Golden Slice. And for those of you that like Golden Slice, know that it's much better aged, and it would have been 4 years old come September, which means it was just going to be about perfect. And I'm moving the stuff that I cellar into the larger 64-ounce jars. So anything that I have more than 2 pounds of, goes into a big jar. And I was like, I'm missing this, I'm missing this, I'm missing this, and I went through, and well, sure enough.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just another aspect of Colorado that I enjoy so thoroughly.
I imagine.
Oh, so I know that you just moved, and you posted a video. What does a Baptist preacher do? Which I haven't got a chance. So full disclosure, Tim and I are both Catholics, and it's okay. We'll get you over.
Very good. Very good. Well, it's interesting. Just on that, one of the first things I say in the introduction of our video is, we've had at least one individual leave. Well, they really enjoyed our service, but they said it was too Catholic for them. So we are confessional or Reformed Baptist, not your tradition. I come out of the SBC, Southern Baptist. I think that's what most people think of when they think Baptist. But we do things a bit more, I guess you would say, high liturgy.
Okay.
And so anyway, but not going too far into that there are aspects that surprise people that we do, reading creeds, prayer, confession, things like that, that marks more historic Baptist tradition that goes back into the 1600s. But anyway, so yeah, bit of a distinction there.
Excellent. Now, do you work a full-time job in addition to being a pastor?
Fortunately, no, I don't. I had before, and that was quite trying. I'm grateful for those guys out there who do and have to. It is very difficult to think you're really fulfilling your requirements in the church while working another job. It's quite a challenge. So fortunately, I'm blessed not to have to do that right now.
Oh, wonderful. And I know you've got some little ones because you just had a little one coming up on a first or second birthday, I believe, correct?
That is right. Second birthday. He's born the day after me. So yes, we have 4 wonderful little ones, 3 boys and a girl. So we are incredibly blessed.
Wow. What are their ages?
They are, one will be 12 this year. One's 11, 9, 5, and 2.
No.
And the last one's a girl?
Last one's a boy. So second from the last is a girl. Yeah, the 5-year-old's a girl.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
good for you.
Yeah. The free time finding for pipe smoking diminishes as the children the smaller they are. In fact, that's why I quit for a good period of time, because when my youngest was about 2, hey, let's go out to the garage. No garage. Well, come on, we're going to go out to the garage. We're going to have a pipe. No garage. Okay. Dad will have to do something else.
Very much so. Yes. I'm fortunate that I have an office, a study in my home that I've been able to set aside for pipe smoking and enjoy that. But if it wasn't for that, I certainly it would be quite limited.
I'm just looking at the background there. It looks professional, Here, the two of us, we're like in, I don't know, I'm in a closet, and
that's okay.
No, I mean actually, not metaphorically. And
Tim is in the prize closet, and
you've got you got like that bookshelf behind you, and man, you look smart. with all those
Well, I'm
books
not.
behind you?
I'm really not. I'm not just saying that to sound humble. I'm certainly not. That's why I feel like I have to read. I've heard people say they work out just to be average. I've heard some guys say that, like, I work out so I can have the strength of the average man. And I feel like that with reading. Like I'm not a smart guy, so I got to read more to feel like I'm on level with the average man. So
Well,
anyway,
you're home here. You're
Yeah.
home here.
Yeah, Tim and I are both avid readers. I think
Excellent.
it's like you get a pipe, and it's like, oh, I should read a book. And I'll be honest, it will in October. It will be 6 years since I've turned the TV on.
Wow, good for you. That's that's wonderful.
I can't watch television at all. It's just
Well, there's this clip from Tolkien. He was being interviewed in the 70s about the Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth mythology and background, and someone was asking him about pipe smoking, and he made the comment that I really can't dissect writing from pipe smoking. They just go together. So if I'm writing, I'm pipe smoking, and vice versa. And I feel like that with reading. I don't really socialize and smoke a pipe. I'm usually, if I'm smoking a pipe, I'm reading or sermon preparation or what have you. So yeah, it really goes hand in hand with reading. Yeah.
I'm the
Thinking time.
Yeah, pipe smoking is a solitary event for me.
It is.
I don't.
It is.
I don't. I
I
start
usually
every.
smoke a cigar in a social setting, and I usually smoke a pipe on my own. So, yeah.
I like to start my day off with a dog walk and bowl of tobacco, and how
There you
far
go.
how big's the pipe? That's how far we're walking today, Coops. Dad,
Right.
Dad, that pipe's too
There you
big.
go.
No, we're going all the way.
Perfect.
Cooper's like, oh gosh, this is a long walk.
Yeah,
I must be homeless.
Dad, I'm gone.
This is the longest walk.
No, you're not done. We haven't seen everything yet. Let's just go out and wander around. But I
go.
think that's what separates pipe smokers too, is that solitary reflection that pipe smoking brings. And
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think there's a type B personality. I guess you would say type B personality. There seems to be a common personality amongst pipe smokers overall, broad brush, I know. But as I go to pipe shows, at least the Texas pipe show, and get to be around other guys or going to Country Squire, it just seems we're more laid back, introspective, thinkers.
yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely right. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So wonderful. So what are some of the pipes that are on your wish list that you don't have yet? And how many pipes do you have currently?
So I'm an odd guy, in many ways, but I'm an odd guy with pipe smoking, or with pipes, I suppose, because I purposely limit my pipe collection. So I have I have a 22 or 24 pipe clock stand, and I've told myself I'm going to limit my pipe collection pretty much. I have some others set aside. I have a Lord of the Rings pipe I don't smoke. I have a couple of others in a drawer that I don't smoke, but by and large, I stick to about 24 rotation. And I've just told myself I'm not going to go above 24, and if I need another pipe, I'm going to sell one. And I've really done that. I just sell the one I like the less. So yeah, I have 24 or so that I smoke regularly during a rotation. As far as ones that are on my list, I can't think of like a certain model per se at the moment, but I could tell you, like, for instance, Orton pipes.
Mm-hmm.
He well known for doing like the tree bark style,
Right. Yeah, that's
sandblasting
interesting.
or rustic. I want a pipe from him eventually. That's kind of just been on the list. I haven't pulled the plug. And then Yeti pipes, which he's probably even a little bit more on the pricier side. I don't know if or when that will ever happen, but those are two immediate ones that come to mind that I would like to get. I've turned my eyes a bit more towards artisan pipes and maybe less towards the more mass production pipes. Though I have a heart for Peterson, I enjoy their pipes certainly, and I'm smoking a Savinelli. But yeah, I think those are the immediate ones that come to mind that I would really like to get my hands on.
Okay, excellent.
Mike, he puts out some beautiful pipes. The Yeti pipe. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Fabulous. Yes.
Yeah, remarkable work.
That's the word for it. Yeah. Fabulous.
So I'm the only one in the group that has pipe acquisition disorder, and it's terrible. And we do not discuss the number of pipes that we have. But in the What's New segment, you'll see over my shoulder, I met with Anthony from Castle Briars. He says, I've got this pipe rack here. Would you like it? Yes, I would. And immediately had enough pipes to fill it up.
Fill it up. There you go.
And,
yeah, impressive.
Yep. But that's, I love artisan pipes, and it's not because I enjoy the friendship that comes with meeting an artisan. That's how Tim and I met, and Anthony at Castle Briars and Corey at ABBS. You make these remarkable friendships. Eric at EMC Custom Cobbs. You make these remarkable friendships, and it kind of transcends. I want one of your pipes. And
absolutely. Oh, most definitely.
Yes,
indeed.
We had Ian Fisher on last week on the show, fantastic pipe maker from New York. And we do have some hilarious comments about Ian's. We had Ian on, and Ian was hit by a cab, which I think is about the most New York thing that could possibly happen to a human. He was riding his bike and got hit by a cab. But
yeah. And the cab driver said, "You're going to need a lawyer."
Man, that's rough.
What a place.
Yeah. Completely different.
That's rough.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine now. This was 6-8 months ago, but he was telling the story. And here's a guy who was a war correspondent. Had been some of the most just horrific battles since the early 90s. He was in Africa for 8 years. He was in Afghanistan. He was in Iraq. Never got a scratch, and then comes back home to New York, gets hit by a cab. So it's about par for the course.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So what type of Savinelli are you smoking? And I've noticed in your collection, you're looks like you're drawn to that army mount style of pipes.
I do like army mount, yes. I don't have that many. Despite my enjoyment of them, I have 4 or 5 of the whole collection. I would like to get more actually, but I am smoking a Savinelli Prince. What is the? Oh, here we go. Eleganza, the 315 KS.
Okay.
So the Prince. But yeah, I've had this one for some time. I've really enjoyed it. Solid pipe.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And you're a Peterson fan.
I am.
Like your Pete's.
I like my Pete's. I do. Some of my favorites are Pete's. However, and I will probably make a video on this at some point. One of my longest held pipes is a Peterson system pipe, and I'm not a big fan of their system pipes. Maybe I need another one to really prove me otherwise, but at the moment I can't say I've had a great experience with them. It doesn't smoke bad per se. I just think the system, which is meant to give you a drier smoke, in fact gives me the opposite. I feel like I have to run a pipe cleaner down it or take the army mount apart and clean it more often than most, if not all, of my other pipes. So I've always found that interesting.
I think the trap is too small on that design.
I think you're right.
One, and it fills right up. And
see, so that's my issue. I've wanted to get another one just to test. Okay, do I just have a flawed one? Is it is that the problem? And I wanted to get another one to test that out, but I haven't yet. But yeah, I can't see. I can't seem to enjoy mine too much. I'm surprised I've held on to it. I think it's just more nostalgia than anything.
Yeah.
I completely understand. I have had 5 Petersons. I think I have 2 left in my collection. They've all had a common reoccurring thread for me, and that's they all smoke hot. Like
Is that right? Okay.
And I had two that I bought new, and 3 that were estates, and all of them just smoked hotter than any other. And I don't, it's not like I changed my cadence just for smoking this pipe. They just smoked hot for me, and I smoke a lot of English ones. They really shouldn't be hot.
You're right. No doubt. That's absolutely interesting. Huh.
Yep. So
yeah,
excellent. So what's next? What do you think coming up for the Spurgeon Piper will be next? What do you have? I mean, we talked about not having goals. Where do you see it going in 6 months?
So, in 6 months, that's a good question. I don't know if there's anything significant. I do tell you, I have not gone to a pipe show outside of the Texas Pipe Show. And maybe you guys can relate if with kiddos, but
you don't
I know
have
some
time
guys
for that.
go to pipe shows. They whether they're retired and their kids are out of the house, so they have that availability, or they don't have kids, and so they can go. But I have 4. If I have limited times in the year, I can go anywhere. So if I'm going to go anywhere, family's going with me, so that really limits my opportunities. But with that said,
Tough sell. Hey kids, we're going to Columbus.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Let's go to Chicago.
It's not Wally World, but it's
yeah.
They have a zoo.
Yeah, there you go. So with that said, though, I've really been eyeing to try to go to a pipe show, and maybe this year. What I'm not good with dates. What's coming up this year that hasn't already happened?
I think Columbus is next, and then Vegas.
Is it?
Yeah, and don't feel bad.
Okay.
I haven't been to any pipe shows at any time.
You haven't? Okay.
No, it is impossible. I'm still working, and to get away on a Thursday or Friday on a limited vacation schedule, it's just been extremely difficult. So
I'm glad I can relate with that. The Texas Pipe Show's always been just very close to me, so that's not a problem. But the same issue, very similar issue with that I have. So Columbus is coming up. Do you guys know when by chance? If you don't know, you don't have to look it up.
It's the end of August.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me look here.
Gotcha.
While you're talking, talk amongst yourselves.
So yeah, in 6 months, that's one aspect I would like to do is actually go. I've been asked to go, and hey, are you going? And we'd love to meet up and all that. And I've over the years I've said no, but I really would like to go to one, especially one of the larger ones like the Columbus. I probably won't go to Vegas. I have no desire to go to Vegas for any reason in my life. But Chicago, Columbus, Muletown is that Columbus one, or I feel like that's somewhere else.
No,
that's in Tennessee.
Yeah, Muletown, Tennessee.
Okay, that's maybe the other one that I had in mind. Going to the Sutliff factory, and getting a tour and maybe setting up also a meetup or some event, what have you, if that's a possibility. I'd like to do something like that. That's coming up. I've had enough requests. I would like to have some type of get together, whether it's at a pipe show, whether it's its own unique thing, I don't know. But so
I've gotten to go to Edwards Pipe Tobacco Shop here in the Denver area and sat with the pipe club that meets on Saturdays, and that was
very nice,
fantastic experience. But we'll see, wherever the next move takes me to, we'll figure it out.
Certainly. Yeah, absolutely.
August 9th and 10th.
August 9th and 10th. All right, so that one's probably out the door. I probably couldn't do that one, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything after that this year. If not, maybe certainly next year. I've already told my wife that's a plan. I need to get away for that, and she's all for that. So that would be on the agenda. Another thing that I haven't really talked about even on my channel, so it would be a bit new, a new announcement, I suppose, here. And it's one of the reasons why I started a Patreon account is I've had a desire, and especially with my farming background, to meet up with one of the main growers of tobacco and interview the farmers, get some recordings in of of the property, the land, the fields where they grow it. If they have tobacco barns on site, I'd love to get insight on their process and kind of interview all of that, record all of that, and get more insight on that. I haven't seen a lot of that on YouTube. I'm sure there is. I'm not saying there's not, but I don't come across that so much. We usually focus on tobacco and our pipes, and then maybe the pipes, artisan pipe makers, and the big blenders, all that good stuff, which I love too. But I'd love to get more on that side of things. And yeah,
Well, you may be in luck. There's a friend of the show, and a friend of ours is Dan Robert from Louisiana, and one of the largest, very large cane producer, also grows Perique tobacco.
that was on my mind. Okay.
Yeah, and he's offered to introduce this gentleman to us, and perhaps have him on the show. So we'll keep you apprised of how that develops. He's in the thick of his planting season right now, and so Dan asked to be patient, and he'll try to connect us with him. Yeah. So that would be kind of neat. Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah. That would be excellent. And that's who I had in mind, or the location. I knew Louisiana had some great Perique growers. And so in this whole process and mindset, I thought I'd love to get some funds, head that way. It's close by, and look at the whole process. So anyway, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That would be
Yep.
be great to make some type of connection.
There is some content on YouTube. University of North Carolina put out several tobacco blending videos. They're out there. They're hard to find. And then YouTube, the rabbit hole of YouTube. Oh, here's a video on tobacco. We thought you might like to learn how to talk to giraffes. No.
Right.
Well, how did you get from here to there? But
Right.
But it's not what I would consider like interviewing them per se. It's more just process.
Right.
I didn't realize until I watched the videos how much goes into, they have to start them in seed trays. It's not like they can just go out and plant tobacco seeds. They start them in seed trays. And then the window for growing, how they grow the tobacco, and where they grow it starts to really determine its flavor, soil content, soil acidity, or alkalinity.
Right.
And that's why you see more burley being grown in Kentucky and Tennessee, and why you see more Virginias grown, North Carolina, Virginia, simply because the soil there is more conducive to those blends. And Jeremy Reeves did an excellent video about Orientals, and it said if you planted Oriental seeds here in the United States, they would end up looking just like Virginia leaves. The reason that the Oriental leaves are so small is because the places that they grow them, it's a very arid, typically a little altitude plays more of an issue, and that's why the leaves are so small, and there's so many of them, is because the plant is compensating for the environment. And if you took those seeds and brought them here, you're not going to get the same results. So
that is interesting. Wow, fascinating.
I spend a little bit of time
I did not know that.
studying tobacco leaves. Not sure why I do that. But.
That's amazing. I did not know that.
So, excellent. Well,
yeah. So I would love to do that. I figured their harvest is in the fall, as most crop harvests are. So I've had my thoughts already going towards the fall, and if I could somehow get connected with a farmer, I would love to have that set up and
well, we'll make a point to try to get that worked out.
Yeah,
and what's your Patreon?
That would be such a.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, we'll try to set you up if we can get in contact with some farmers. And then what's your Patreon account? So people that want to support this effort, and we would love to see it, by the way.
Absolutely. It is the Spurgeon Piper. It's really, you should be able just to search on Patreon and find it. And so that is really the reason for the Patreon. I wasn't trying to make a big bucks through the channel. I mostly had this in mind and maybe some other similar things. And I thought, well, I don't make a whole lot of income personally, so having a little extra on the side to help pay for costs, man, that'd be excellent. So
well, the neat thing about this is if we can get this connection made, it's going to be a lot more informative. Because if we have this guy on the podcast, we'll talk about what he does, but a listener's got to kind of, imagine.
Right.
Use their imagination to figure out, okay, this is what's actually happening. Where if you're on, he can accommodate you and you can go on site and look at the barns and,
definitely.
and do an interview like that. It's going to be a lot more informative.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm excited to get that happening. I think it'll be
that'd be cool. All right. We'll work on
informative. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Very good.
Anything else you want to talk about while you're hanging out with us? Or maybe criticize us for our liberal use of profanity, which we've heard.
So I have a question. Why Charles Haddon Spurgeon for the name of your podcast?
Yeah, well, and I don't think many know why Spurgeon. I for a while, people thought it was my last name. Because I usually just don't say my last name, but so number one, Spurgeon, I've been a fan. I've been blessed by him for some time reading his work. He's, for those who don't know, I'll just quick 10-second background. Spurgeon was one of the great Baptist pastor theologians, mostly pastor in the 19th century. He based in London, and he pastored for a number of years, very influential in his time period. He worked himself to death. He wrote so much and did so much. He went into an early grave because of that, 50s, but it was relatively early. But he did a lot. But he was also on top of that, so it's not just the theological aspect, but it was also because he was a huge tobacco smoker. He's mostly known for cigar smoking. There's a lot of anecdotes with him. One anecdote is a woman came to him very upset that he was smoking a cigar or smoked cigars, and she might have been a congregant, I'm not sure, but anyhow, she came to him and she says, "Pastor Spurgeon, why do you smoke a cigar?" And he said, "Because I can't smoke two at one time." And he was always smoking a cigar, but he also smoked pipes as well. He, in fact, I think the largest collection of Spurgeon content in the world is in Missouri at Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. They have a Spurgeon library, but they have at least one of his pipes on hand. I think it's a meerschaum, actually. So anyway, all that to say, that is what spurred on the name Spurgeon Piper, and I just kind of stuck with it.
All right,
Excellent.
great. Yeah, I've got on the shelf a book of his sermons, and I've read a few of them.
There you go. There you go.
He's pretty dynamic.
Yes, he is. He was a dynamic preacher for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So, but yeah, outside, I don't know if I have anything else to add. Tim, how often do you? And I have to say, to my disappointment, I have not. I need to get more familiar with your pipe making. But how often are you making pipes?
Well, I'm a retired banker, which means that I hung up my banking shoes and I never looked back, and I spend every day in the shop. So I'm in the shop every day making pipes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Very good. Well, wonderful.
Excellent. Now, this is normally the portion of the show where we talk about comments from previous episodes, and we talk about what's new in our collections or what's new that we're working on. and then just kind of free form from there, as most of the show is. So if you'd like to stick around, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to leave, you're more than welcome to. It's entirely up to you.
Very good. Well, I actually would love to stick around. Unfortunately, I can't because I have to get some work done before tomorrow. I have a meeting to get to, and I put off some work that I needed to get done, and that's typically what happens with me. So anyway, will have to jump off. But gentlemen, it was really enjoyable to jump on with you.
It was a pleasure.
I appreciate it.
It was fantastic to get to talk to you, and we look forward to your next set of content, and look forward to continue watching the Spurgeon Piper. So thank you, Wilson, for joining us.
Very good.
Yeah, we'll be in touch too as this thing with the Perique grower develops. Okay.
Absolutely, I would be very grateful. Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
cool.
Jim, thank you guys so much.
More than welcome.
Wilson. Pleasure to meet you.
You too. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
All right.
Huh.
So we have a contest that we ran that Garrett from Smokestacks said, hey, I got 4 people to sign up, and here are their names, their YouTube names, and couldn't find where they had actually subscribed. So I don't know. Do we want to try the contest again? Maybe get a little more participation? Or do we just send them to Garrett and his wife Katie and call it a day?
What to do? This is a big. We're going to have a subscriber drive, and we had what? Like 4.
4. Yeah, killing it.
Yeah,
killing it.
Look, if you're watching this or you're listening, we're not really losers.
We're just 2 gray-haired guys hanging out, making fun of stuff.
We're not a couple of losers, all right?
Oh,
I don't care. It may very well be that they signed up. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and send them the pipe.
All right, fair enough. So I will. Right. I'll send those off to Garrett, and off he goes. So congratulations, Garrett. And by the way, I was just watching on my phone. Eric raffled off his 2000th pipe this evening, about 4 minutes ago, and Garrett won the pipe number 2000. So Garrett's kind of gonna kill it here.
Garrett, you know what? Fuck him. Let's start it over again.
Fair enough. Yeah,
You notice how I held the F-bomb until the minister was off the.
Yeah, well, I kind of kept it under control. Yeah. What do you really think? It founded bookshop. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it was wild. This guy on Facebook, wanted to, be friends with me, and I'm flipping through his channel, and hang on, I could be able to read some of his stuff. It was you make a decision to drink. Yeah, I sure did. And it prevents you from making other decisions. Duh, that's why I'm drinking.
You did make a decision. You decided to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, that's right.
Was that decision made for you?
Well, the minute I put the red breast to my lips, off we went.
Anyway, go ahead, read it.
I can't find it because I removed it from my list. Yeah, very disappointing. So, but it was.
He was trying to.
Yeah,
I'm trying to help you, buddy.
No, I'm a drunk. I go to parties. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't go to meetings at all. I just no. Just not my thing. So
I'm a social drinker.
All right. So I got a fantastic email. So Edwin, who was one of our contestants for the military service contest, sent me an email, and we've traded a couple of emails, and we talk about what's new. I'll tell you what I'm working on for him. But he sent us this great letter. I wanted to thank you for reading all the entries in the contest for veterans. I was very honored to be included in those stories, and my wife, Sarah, who should get all the credit for my service, did an outstanding job on her write-up. What she left out is that she is a veteran too. I'm truly blessed to have someone that has stayed by my side through my many years of service and was willing to put up with me. I just finished that episode yesterday and loved every minute of it. I know it was a longer one, but you guys are great, and I enjoy your podcast very much. Thank you so much for honoring all of us and putting out great content. Let Tim know I appreciate him too. Thanks.
Oh, very nice.
Wow.
Hey.
You know, Edwin, Sarah, hang on to each other. You're good folks. And when good people meet in life, they should stay together until death do you part. So, well done. Well done.
Well, thanks for the kind email. That was great.
Yeah, very thoughtful of you, Edwin. Azalea Piper. This was on our last episode with Ian from Fisher Pipes. Outstanding episode, gentlemen. It was a pleasure hearing from Mr. Fisher. I really enjoyed the extended conversations with your guests. Looking forward to the next. All right. Garrett from Smoke.
Since we had Ian on, he and I have traded conversation back and forth on Instagram, and that's what I like about doing this podcast is I get to become friends with people that I wouldn't otherwise. And we some of the stuff was we're commiserating about things that we run into while making pipes, and then trading some ideas and that kind of thing. And so it's good, very good.
Yeah, it's a running conversations I have with people, and that's why I'm so in love with the pipe community, and glad I can be just a small part of it, because where else do you find people that'll reach out and talk to you? And one of the things I do want to talk about, and while I'm thinking about it, Jacob, who's a friend of the show, a subscriber, been a long time viewer of the show, decided last week that he was going to buy some whole leaf tobacco and he was going to start doing his own blending. And he made his first blend yesterday, and he's absolutely in love with it. And well done. If I could have everybody start blending at home, I would be the happiest guy in the world. Because I think one of the great joys is finding out what you like and then honing in on it and dialing it in. Yeah. And if he really liked his first blend, there's no telling where Jacob's going to go with it. So well done, Jacob. Well done. So I told him I was going to talk about it. So, next up, Smoke Snacks, Garrett. Thank you for the shout out. Another great show with an excellent guest. Jim, I was born when you first smoked a pipe, LOL. And poor Riley and his seat. Yeah, I feel bad for the seat of Riley's.
You know what? That's like, that story was like having Tourette's in mass where you yell douchebag or cunt or something.
Oh,
that story was, it's like, oh boy, sorry I told that one.
Yeah. No. That was, and that's exactly the kind of content that you've come to expect from us. This is not highbrow humor here. We're not above that. So, I think we've all had those moments in our lives where it's like, oh, this is just not going to work out for anybody, is it? No, not at all.
I just had this vision of Riley rereading the text the next day going, oh, God, why'd I send that?
Yeah. In fact, let me read you Riley's comment that after I read it. Hold on. I did tell you that my worst blind date wasn't great to read on air. I mean, it's hilarious after the fact, but during it's a train wreck of sympathy and disgust. Yeah. And I told him it was hilarious, perfect story. And he goes, perfect and awful at the same time. Now, it's perfect for us because we weren't there. We just got the secondhand telling of it.
That was one of those ones where, you do something and you think it's going to be great, And everybody in the crowd, they just stand back and go, "Whoa!"
Oh, no! Did that happen? Oh, wow!
And there's Riley standing.
Yeah. Yikes!
And he gave you every sort of detail too.
Oh yeah, you could have just said it was
I had a blind date and it was really pretty bad. She was gross. No. He had describe it in every agonizing detail.
That's right. Yeah. Like, oh man. Somebody gets in the truck the next day. What are you, filleting fish in here? What the hell happened? Oh, awful. Just awful. So, Terry Brewster, as always, Terry had a comment on the show. Awesome show, guys. What the hell with the hippie corporate speak? We're the tip of the spear. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Funny as hell. Also, Jim, thanks for the explanation of SAFBD. Funny as hell.
He did. He swore he'd go to the electric chair swearing that he got it right. He listened back. He's like, no, I guess I didn't.
No,
that was a disaster.
Yeah, no. But that was that was part of 2 episodes, and it's just one of those phrases that pops into my head, and it's why it makes my confessions infinitely more interesting than most. That Father, I have a serious problem.
It did seem like when you repeated back what he said, it seemed in my memory that there may be like 6 additional letters in there, and he like leaned into the camera. SFBD, SBACD.
Yeah, I really love them S&M pipes. Oh, good. Yeah, thanks, Terry. Yosef Syed, who has a fantastic. If you want to be uplifted and positive content, Yusuf Syed is your guy. Just a super individual. Good evening, gents. Beautiful pipes for the giveaway. Awesome show. Thanks for the chat and sharing a pipe with me. Have a wonderful weekend. Greetings from South Africa.
Yeah.
Blake Pipes, who I really need to get Blake's email. So, Blake, if you're listening to this episode, send me your email, emersonsouthern@yahoo.com, and we'll chat because we need to have you on. So his first comment was, "You're going to need a lawyer." I could not stop laughing. As I was born and raised in Jersey, such a Northeast statement to say. That's about right. Bluebird Farm, excellent show. Sounds like Ian lived an interesting life. I would have loved to hear more stories about his days as a conflict journalist. Regarding Riley's blind date story, I thought for sure it was going to end with, "And we've been happily married for 15 years. Roll on the floor. Yeah. So what happened? We got married 6 months. Yeah, we got married 6 months later. Oh.
Come on over. You can meet my wife.
No. I've heard the story. No.
No thanks. It took for a while for me to get the skunk out of my car. I don't need to relive that.
Yeah. Hi, how can we help you today, sir? I need to get a smell out of my car. Oh, really? What does it smell like? Just come on out with me. Oh, Lord, fire. Kill it with fire. Just take the upholstery out and burn it. Start over from scratch. It's a brand new truck. Yeah, nothing's going to get this out. There is no product we have. You're going to have You're going to have to put Vaseline under your nose and wear a mask because there's nothing getting through this. All right, Blake Pipes left a second comment. Best customer when I was with International Paper. He was pissed that I defended my employee with an order this customer ordered, and it was late. He and I had it out in the parking lot. Next day, he walked in and bought almost everything from me after that, and we went to his retirement party. Both of us were from New Jersey. Go figure. Now
that was the fat baby dick story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I still miss my conversations with Larry because he surprisingly, also from the Northeast. But I think he was originally from Massachusetts. But, he was a very outlandish personality. And once we got to be friends, just, different level of fun with him. This one goes back to our Tim and Jim Go to See a Doctor, our interview with the Pipe Cottage, Dr. Alan Harrison. And he said, "Hold up, Mr. Leghorn. Not all of Ohio is Yankee land. Come check out our 33 Appalachian counties." Apparently, he took a little offense to Ohio being Yankee land. Huh. All right, fair enough.
Well, he's sort of north of the Mason-Dixon, though.
Well, you are north of Mason-Dixon. Although, for some reason, the Mason-Dixon line actually runs through a part of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Which, I don't
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Questions for the show?
Wait a minute. I saw a, Bradley from BG Woodworks.
Mm-hmm.
He got the prize, and he posted a thing on Instagram, and here it is, saying
cool.
Thank you for the wonderful gift. Very nice. And right here, there's like a tiny little chicken or something. So I sent back and I said, "Thanks for the nice picture. I see you also included your tiny little pecker." You can just kind of see it there. Yeah.
All right.
So there you go.
Excellent. We do have some questions for the show, if you'd like to take a crack at a couple of these, Tim. This one's from our mutual friend Andy from beautiful Valdosta, Georgia. If you haven't already gone over it, what are your tips for cellaring, especially for non-vapors? Is it always the longer the better? What blends tend to benefit the most and or the least?
All right. Well, Andy, my the duration of my cellaring is bordering on 9 months.
Okay.
I've got a few things that they're a couple of years old. I'm just leaving them there. But the thing that I've noticed is when I have had really well aged tobacco, Virginias, to me, by my palate, Virginias seem to be the ones that benefit the most. Could be wrong about that entirely, but in terms of sort of like flavor lift, seems to me that Virginia does, and then other ones like Balkan or something like that, where you set it aside and it'll take some of the rough edges off and sort of mellow it out a little bit. That's been my experience, but you probably better equipped to answer that question.
I don't know about that, but I'll tell you my answer. Blends that the longer you let them sit, the better, are almost always Virginias. Virginias age gracefully. Burley, it really doesn't. Burley is Burley. If it's 5 years old, if it's 10 years old, Burley really doesn't benefit much from the aging process. I will tell you that Latakia suffers the most from aging because that smoky flavor, the longer you age something, the less smokiness that you'll get. That unique Latakia flavor tends to dissipate the longer you age it. That doesn't mean that it's worse. It's just, if you're looking at cellaring a lat bomb or heavy Balkan blend, you're going to lose some of that smokiness. And tobacco reviews, there's been a ton of information put out that Latakias just suffer, and I find that to be very true. In fact, while I was working through my cellar this weekend, and we'll segue into why I'm so effing pissed off. I keep a spreadsheet with all that I have in my cellar, and I was transferring it to the larger jars we talked about earlier. And I was missing 48 jars. It's 2 ounces in each one. 96 ounces. Do some math, and that's a lot of tobacco to be missing. And here's what they got. Of the ones that they got all my Orla Golden Slice that I've been aging since 2019. So it's 4 years old. Just terrible. All my Boswell's Northwoods. I have one jar that I have on my rack that I keep. So all my Boswell Northwoods was gone. Gosh, I can't remember, but there were 4 blends that I lost a pound of, and it just really pissed me off. And
it's all that time. That's the thing too. Is you can replace the tobacco, but
yeah,
you can't get the time back.
Yeah, the newest sample in the cellar was from 2021, so all of this was well aged. And in fact, I took not that I'm bagging on C&D, but I have Red Odessa, which is one of my top 10 blends. I absolutely love it. And I have some that's 4 years old, and it ages wonderfully gracefully. And I took some out and had a bowl of it this afternoon. And tobacco gets better as it gets older, but the flavors meld. There's not the because it's got Latakia in it. That Latakia flavor kind of fades away, but that doesn't make it any less enjoyable. So excellent.
Yeah.
And then Andy added, it may not be a good idea, but it might be a good time. All right. Well, there you go. And now we have questions from at Noah's House. Are there any plans for a live broadcast?
We talked about that, and I think to do a streaming broadcast, it costs something to do that.
Actually, it would just be YouTube, because we can set up a live on YouTube. Yeah, there's no charge for it. And I have obviously access to the Pipe and Tobacco Talk channel. We could set up a live and do a live. We just haven't. We're already unfiltered enough. Catching us live could be...
Yeah. Well, and if we did it, only because our audience is so enormous that we would probably benefit by giving some forewarning. If we're going to do it, announce that, on whatever date we're going to do a live broadcast. Otherwise, you're doing a live broadcast and there's, it's like if a tree falls in the woods and there's nobody there to hear it, does it make a noise?
Yes, it does.
You see what I'm saying?
I argued with my philosophy professor about that for an entire semester. How do you know it makes a noise? Well, because the tree is falling.
Because Schrodinger's cat jumped.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a Fibonacci sequence here. This is, it fell, so yes, it made a noise. But you didn't hear it. Well, I haven't heard a lot of things, but I know that they exist. And he looked at me, you're defeating the purpose of this. Yeah, I know, reason and logic. It's okay. Go with it here.
Get a job.
Yeah, Noah's next question.
Get a job.
Yeah, is specifically aimed at you. Tim, how is the garden bed coming?
The bottom part is all done, and I've got to get some mushroom compost to put on it. I'm going to be late, though, in getting some plants in. But that's okay.
You haven't actually had great weather to plant.
It's just been nothing but piss rain for the last 30 days.
Oh, well, and just before we came on, we had a thunderstorm. And it's cold as shit. It's 44 here today. Seriously.
Yeah. This is the second dry day, and we're coming up in another day. I think tomorrow's dry, and then we got 5 days of rain coming. So yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. And you've got big storms coming too. They just ripped through Iowa earlier today, so you're going to get some.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But then I don't know. Noah might be, he's east of me, but he's
further south,
If
right?
he's west of the Allegheny Mountains, he gets what we get. And so, I don't know.
Yeah, I know that he's south of Pittsburgh. So,
yeah.
But he's a professional gardener, and we are
True.
pipe and tobacco
True.
guys. You know, what can you grow, Jim?
Right,
I can
right.
grow random weeds damn near anywhere. And the last question for the show, Jim, how do you come up with your press times? How will you adjust when moving back to the low country? Okay. When I was using the pasta presses, it was by feel. So, and when I did the live with West, we pressed a blend, put it in, and I tightened it up so that I couldn't tighten it up anymore. And we let it sit for an hour while we talked, and then I picked it up and I could get another full half turn on it. So it was all by feel. So I was, with the pasta presses, I would tighten it up in the morning and the afternoon, and it would take between 4 and 7 days. With the new presses, because it's got 4,000 PSI, once I moved back to the low country, because of the pressure that I'm getting, it's less than 24 hours. If I put something in first thing in the morning, it would be ready 8 o'clock at night. But I typically let them sit overnight, and I will tighten the press up. If I typically blend in the morning, and by morning I mean sometime between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. because I'm old and I don't sleep. And it honks my wife off. The clanging of the stainless steel stuff and making noise. But I will
You're
tighten
like the
it
chef
up.
on the Muppets.
Exactly. And I'll tighten them up just before I go to bed, and then when I get up the next morning, I'll take them out, and they're good and solid. So I'm really liking the new presses. What I'm looking forward to is humidity. The off-gassing that goes on here. A couple of the jars that I opened that I've had in my cellar that have been sealed up for 4 or 5 years, as I was transferring them to the larger jars, the lids would pop off, go 4 feet up in the air, and just altitude is terrible. Don't blend at altitude.
Yeah. Good that the jars, one little tap, there's so much strain on them.
Yeah.
You bang a jar together with another one and the things just explode.
Mm-hmm. All right. Excellent. Tim, what's new at your house?
Well, here's got this that I started.
Oh, look at that. That is so cool. And it has the little swirl off to the left or the right, depending on which way you look at it.
Right.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The top, this is it's lace wood.
Mm-hmm.
And this is lace wood. And then this is an Eldridge it's like an iridescent blue purple. I suppose there's a name for that color. But anyway, this one, my friend, is coming your way in a few days. It feels like it's maybe tomorrow I'll be able to buff it out. It's feeling pretty dry.
Nice.
And then we got just been doing a lot of commissions. I got the pipe of this week's pipe of the week.
Oh,
is a
that is
candy
a
apple red
sharp blowfish.
Yeah, and so that's up on the site now, and
gorgeous.
Yeah, and just doing commissions. Getting stuff done.
All right, excellent.
Yep, cracking along. Yep.
Yeah. So speaking of commissions, I had a very fun week of blending, and we talked about Edwin a little bit ago. So I'll bring it up. And he said, I really want to have a blend that's similar to another blend. I said, okay, we can work on that. And I don't want to say what blend it is that he wanted. That's probably the most frequent request I get. Can you copy X? No, not at all. Cause I don't do the same things, but I can make a pretty tasty blend based on what I read out of that. And so, this is based on his unit that he was in for his length of service, which I believe, according to his letter, was 28 years. It's the 206th Engineer Battalion, the Frontiersmen, clear the way. So he sent me the logo, put it on the jar. It's in the press. It'll go out to him probably Thursday. And he said, would you do this for me? Would you put it in, I want 8 ounces. I want it in 4 separate jars so I can send it to my buddies in the battalion that smoke pipes. And, yeah, we can do that. That's pretty cool.
Nice. What's in it?
It is a vapor. So it's got 4 Virginias. It has 4 Virginias and Perique. So it's got, I'll tell you here in a second, Tim. I don't have to guess. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. No, I'm going to have to go up. Going the wrong way on the page. Maybe. Where is it at, Tim? Tim, this is why I typically print them out before I do them, because here it is. It is okay. two red Virginias, long cut, and bright Virginia and Perique. So it'll be a very tasty blend.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then my friend David from Facebook, I think he's also on Instagram, said, I really want a blend, and he said, I want these 4 ingredients. He wanted stoved Virginia, Perique, a Burley, and I chose French dark air-cured Burley and black Cavendish, and then he wanted it topped with buttery pecan flavoring. So, Pecan Reprise is currently in his hands, awaiting patiently for his approval. I've had several people reach out. I will not release it until he says, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. And it's, David's from Texas, and Texans love their pecans, and I can do that. So I haven't smoked any of it yet. I made the blend, sent it off to him. I know he got it in the mail yesterday or today. Don't remember. I could probably check Pirate Ship and tell you. And then Jay Furman, who is always good for a great blend idea, said, I want something that's burley forward, something that has a stout burley flavor. I want a little bit of Virginia in it. I want a little bit of Perique. And then I want the black Cavendish cased with Frangelico, which is a hazelnut liqueur. And introspection. Jay got it today. He has not had any yet. But it is a very interesting tin note. If you like hazelnuts, this would probably be your baby.
So you top the Cavendish with the Frangelica separately, and then you blend all the components together.
Right. So that's the difference between topping and casing. A topping goes on the blend after it's blended. A casing goes on a particular component before you do the blend. So when I was talking to Jay last week, he said, this is how I want it. I want the black Cavendish cased with Frangelico. He actually wanted Nocello, which is not available in Colorado. I don't know why that is, which is also a hazelnut liqueur. And I said, well, I can get Frangelico. Will that work? And he said, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So I cased it, let it sit for 5 days, then made the blend and put it together. And it does have a nice hazelnut tin note to it. And then I was talking this weekend and I'm not a huge Discord user. I am part of a couple of groups on Discord, but I have been neglectful in my Discording simply because I don't know how it works and I'm old.
I'm on a couple and I suck at it too. So
yeah,
you're not alone.
So Desert Pine, Jim, a brand new friend of mine, we were talking about, we're all Pittsburgh Pirates fans. And in the Pipes, Sports, and Pals Discord, they have sports ball. Well, they're talking about sports. And I said, my favorite player of all time is Roberto Clemente. I got to see Roberto play before he passed away. I was 7. My dad used to take me to Pittsburgh because he's from Pittsburgh. And I've been a lifelong Pirates fan. And if you want to, people talk about, oh, I'm a Cubs fan or, oh, I'm a Bears fan.
Did you go to Forbes Field? You didn't go to Forbes Field.
No, Three River Stadium.
That was Three River Stadium, yeah.
Yeah. No, Forbes was long gone before I got to see my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said, well, you really should come up with a blend called RC 3000 commemorating Roberto Clemente's 3,000th hit. Those of you that don't know the story of Roberto Clemente, got his 3,000 hits in one of the last games of the year, and then the off season he was taking earthquake survivors a relief plane, and the plane went down, and unfortunately he passed in the plane crash, and that was in 1973. So I thought, okay, I'll make RC 3000. And what makes this one special is in the same Discord chat, I was talking to Stacy from Mahirin Bespoke Works, and she says, oh, and she posted a picture, and she had molasses bitters. And I didn't even know they made molasses bitters. And I thought, oh, boy, this would be good. And I wanted something that was going to be deep and rich. So it's Latakia, Krumapgrad Perique, and 3 different cigar leaves, Criollo, Ligero, and Brazilian Foiano, and it's topped with molasses bitters. All 3 of these blends are going to find a special place. Now, the Pecan Reprise, it's a difficult one for me to smoke because I'm not a big Aero guy, but it has a remarkable tin note. And if you like pecans, or if you prefer pecans, we're going to call them pecans. That's kind of something special. And this is this is the RC 3000 is a good, stout, smoky, wonderful blend. So
Molasses bitters. That sounds pretty good.
yeah, I know. Right? I didn't even know it existed, and it's like, because I've looked, and so anybody know or doesn't know, because I've never told anybody, I use Fee Brothers bitters. I just like the flavor consistency. They have a lower glycol alcohol content in it, and I think their flavors are superior in the marketplace. So there you go. That's oh, and I did get, well, sort of. I got one great new pipe. This is the one I won on the last waffle. It's an Army Mount Cobb from EMC Custom Cobbs. It's absolutely gorgeous. Brass fittings on it. Fantastic. Just came in yesterday. Haven't even got to smoke it yet, but I do have the condom on it because they all have to get a pipe condom.
Yeah.
So
ready
this
to
will
go.
out. So this will go out for its maiden run. And then I was ordering some tobacco from Tobacco Pipes because I needed some. And I needed to get over the limit, and I saw Falcon pipes, and I got a Falcon pipe. Now, before you say anything, yes, this was the wrong stem choice. I have ordered the aluminum bend stem for it. I really like the bowl. Nice depth, nice wall thickness. I think it'll be an excellent smoker. This particular stem from the Falcon is absolute, the nicest thing I'll say is absolute garbage. It's terrible. And I didn't even want to smoke it because it's just so poorly made. It's still got marks on it from where they pressed it. This was a mold. It came out of a mold. They didn't even shape it. It's just pressed.
Got the flashing on it. Still.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It prevents rainwater from at least you could have sanded it down. So I ordered another stem for it, and I'll let you know how that goes. But I've wanted a Falcon pipe for a while, and I just needed it to get over the free shipping limit. So that's what I did.
Yeah. So that screws out that
yeah. So it's a lot like the Weeby radiators.
Like a radiator pipe.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I really like the radiator pipes that Aaron made, and I have them. All my radiators, all my EMC Custom Cobbs are in the new rack behind me, which you can see that Anthony was so kind to give to me. But I gave him some tobacco, so it was a pretty fair trade. Did I talk about Portcullis last week? Portcullis Fine Cut? You remember?
I don't think so.
Okay, so Portcullis Fine Cut. He wanted all fine cut Virginias in it, and then he wanted it topped with, he was trying to match some blend that had kind of a bready taste, like a cinnamon bread taste to it. So I made up a brown sugar casing to go on it to give it that kind of bready taste, and he's had a bowl of it. Haven't got full response, but if he likes it, it'll go on the blend list. So There you go.
Okay, cool.
And I don't have the jar sitting in front of me, unfortunately.
When well, I won't get it until August at the pipe show in Columbus. But Rich Epley, EP Pipes, he's making a 32 slot wall mount rack for me. Ooh. Yeah, but he found he's got barrel staves, and he's got the head off of a barrel that he's going to incorporate in it too.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, so he'll come up with something pretty cool.
Yeah. Speaking of Rich, he called me up a while ago, and I made a blend for him called Mola Ram, which he wanted to be kind of like a Camel cigarette, and he wanted it to be a stronger blend. So I threw some ripe Virginia and some Oriental mix and something else in it. And he said, "Oh, what do I owe you for that?" I said, "Well, let's make a trade." And he says, "Pick anything you want off the site." And, I'm sending him a pound plus. And he said, "Pick anything you want." I said, "Okay." So I picked a pipe, and I'll be talking about that next week because it's supposed to be here tomorrow.
He said, sent me a text this morning. He said, he says, "I'm a little bit worried about Jim." And I said, "Why?" And this is text back and forth. He said, "Because that last episode when you were going over the veterans, he goes, Jim got all weepy because I'm worried about his mental health." And I said, "Well," and he said, "So on the show," he said, "tell him that a bunch of people, a bunch of your listeners all wrote in and said they were concerned." I said, "What, all 5 of them?" He goes, "No, 4. The vegan guy probably liked it."
I couldn't, how could you, I mean, when you think about what they had to give up and all the things that they've done.
If you're going to take a dose of shit, you're going to get it from Richard Epps.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm fine with it. Yep. You're right. I was emotional about that,
Uh-huh.
And normally I'm a happy drunk, but
how could you not be? Right.
Yeah.
How could you not be? Right.
All right. So before we finish, are we going to do another contest, or am I just sending these pipes off to Garrett for being the only one that signed up?
Send them off to Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in there. I mean, we did pick up 4 new subscribers, so maybe it's them.
Yeah. That's fine. And by the way, Garrett's channel, Smoke Snacks, is on just hit blend 50. They're doing 50 blends a day for 100 days, and they're doing reviews on them. And I thought that was kind of cool. And I believe they did Old Dark Fired today, which is a blend I really like, but I don't think his wife Katie liked it too much. So I haven't got to watch the whole episode, but she made, opened up the tin and made the face like, I don't think that's going to be a winner for her.
She made the face.
And that's, I never ask my wife because she hates all tobacco. She just thinks it all smells terrible. So I don't ask her, here, smell this. No, absolutely not. All right. Fair.
That's good.
On to the next thing. All right. Well, we've been on for a hot minute. Great episode. I loved having Wilson on. I just think the world of him.
Great. Good to finally meet him.
When he made Cwin Bay Navy one of his top blends of 2022, within hours of that video posting, I had 16 people calling and wanting it, and it has consistently stayed in the top 10. Right? Yeah. And, I just forever, and he didn't know me from Adam. In fact, Tinker, Thomas, "Hey, why don't you send Spurgeon Piper some blends?" Okay, I will. And he reviewed Thomas's blend, and he reviewed Cwin Bay. And because he's not an English guy, Thomas blend didn't fit his palate at all. But
sure.
Off we go. Anything else, Tim?
Nope, I think that's it. I think we've done quite enough here.
Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining us, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.